So thank you for coming to the Free Friday today. And I want to just go over a couple of things. Some of you have been here before. It's kind of a fun day. There's an event happening tonight. Does anybody know what event that is? Is Colette here yet? No, she's not. Hello, Philip. There's an event happening. Noel knows. There is a hockey game tonight, and my team is in the final. So that's a pretty cool thing. So share. I'm kind of lost without my other monitor. I don't You don't know how lost you are until you don't have it anymore. Anyway, I'm Joanne Swensrud. Thank you for coming. We're going to talk about Excel conditional formatting. My company's knowitsooner.com. Well, Know It Sooner computer training. You can get all the practice files and things from the website. I did put one in the chat. If you didn't get it, then uh, then we'll put it in there again. Why do we do these sessions? We do them on the first Friday of every month. I did say that we're not going to do them over the summer, but we've been having quite a few people come. So I don't know. Watch for an email on that to see if we're going to have it over the summer or not. If nobody comes to these things, then I don't like to hold them. But if people are coming, and even better, if people are contacting us to do custom sessions and we have for their own group. So whether you belong to an association or maybe for your own company, you say, wow, that was really good. And it's fairly inexpensive to have me come and do this at your whatever time you want. I did one the other day for a large company and they had people all over Canada and the States. And it was $500 Canadian. I'm not sure if we have any non-Canadians here, but so they had 124 people on it. That works pretty darn good for value, dollar value. So even if you're not interested in that, please just give us a review. We love reviews. You know, when you go to on vacation or something, you go to a hotel website or something, you just want to learn about reviews, right? So that really, really, really helps us out. So I would appreciate that. Um, yeah, so I also just want to talk for just 1 minute about my book that I wrote. It's 365 tips. It's called, and this is just my website here, knowitsooner.com. Right on that front page, it talks about the Know It Sooner tips book. Also talks about the tip of the day. Here's some homework for you. Tip of the day. Go in every day. Unless you buy my book, then you don't have to go in here every day. And it just pulls out the tip for the day. And okay, this one applies to Word, for example. Some of them apply to all the Office programs. Some are smartphone tips. A lot of them are Excel. A lot of them are Excel. Probably 40% are Excel. So you can buy this as a download, $10, or you can get it. There are some links here. There's the book itself. Okay. So that's my little thingy thing there for today. So it'll just take you in and kind of show you how to do it. There's some what it looks like inside, some of the sample tips and things like that. Okay, good. So um, after the session. You can go, it'll be probably an hour or two after the session. All of my videos, my Free Fridays, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones are all available on my YouTube channel. Please go in and subscribe. I'm about 1 million people away, followers away from making any money. I don't think I'm going to be able to retire on my YouTube channel, but please go in and look at some of those. Like I said, the recordings will be there. And upcoming courses, things like that. I do have some online courses as well and they are on my website as well. So take a look at the events coming up. We've got one coming up later this month about OneNote. So they're not always free Fridays like this. That one is free, actually, about OneNote. And if you're not using OneNote yet, you want to use OneNote. It is a fantastic program. So please check that out as well. And also thinking about holding some live virtual courses in the fall. They're a lot of work to set up, but if I know I have people that are interested in them, then like what do you guys think? Just chat with me. Do you like the online training or the virtual training? Like, are the, sorry, the like recordings, are you good with recordings or do you like the live? Like, would you sign up for a live course or would you just be like, if I have to pay for it, I don't want to do it. And I notice there's some new people. Welcome. While you're chatting back to me, I'm going to put in a practice file in the chat. If you want to follow along, you sure don't have to. If you don't want to, you can watch it later, but sometimes people like to follow along. So I'll put it in the chat again. So it's called Invest Conditional Formatting. Live preferred. Yeah, yeah, good. So Noel, how many shall I sign you up for then?
At
Puts him
least
on
a
the spot.
handful.
Oh, really? Cool. And that's one thing that people don't know what they don't know. So coming to sessions like this, you're like, wow, I use conditional formatting all the time. So um, what else can I show you about this, right? Or like, I'm good with Excel or whatever. Well, there's always more that people can learn. So you guys, I went on a course the other day and I was so pumped when I came back from the course. Man, was I pumped. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to put this to, I want to put this to use. And that's what I like to give people. So I really hope that after this session, you'll have that. Okay, good. Thank you for the feedback, you guys. I'm going to follow up with you on that for sure. All right, today's lesson. I am going to go to Excel. There you go. That was my Alt tab. For some of you that, and I'm gonna minimize the chat. So I'll probably take a breather here as we go in and say, hey, are there any questions? Or you can interrupt me. If you have a specific question, please leave yourself on mute for the session unless you have a question. Sometimes there's background noise that you don't realize is coming through, but everybody else is uh, is hearing. So, okay, let's get going. How many of you have used conditional formatting? I'll open the chat one more time. How many of you have used conditional formatting? So I'm just kind of curious. How many of you have used it before? Save chat. Yeah. Anybody used it before? Maybe you're not even sure what it is because it's not really self-explanatory. So it's when you, well, I'll show you. I think I'm hoping you can see my screen. In this. Okay. This has a whole bunch of conditional formats on it. This sheet two or this number one completed, it's called down here. So in that practice file, and again, let me know if you need the practice file again or just scroll in the chat. You probably can find it yourself. But this is just a little spreadsheet that we're using for doing different things to the data. So I can tell instantly that this $701 is one of the lower amounts because it's got a red beside it. I can tell that this 3145 is one of the higher amounts because it's got a green and all the yellows are somewhere in between, for example. I can tell that all the Albertas and BCs and Saskatchewans have all automatically got these formats on them automatically. So in my little advertising blurb, I was saying, if you're ever going in and manually coloring a cell, right? Oh, this one is red, or this, and then we need to figure out how you can automate that. So if this person, Teresa, she moves from Alberta to BC, bam, BC turns blue. So think about that, anybody, and I'd love to hear from you if you have anything like that that you are currently doing manually, because I want to see if we can maybe automate that. Okay, so this one has a bunch of conditional formatting. On the right-hand side, you can see that some of these ages, they're colored. I think I have it saying anybody over 100 gets their cell colored, right? There's other ways to do things like this. You can filter and stuff like that. Actually, filtering and conditional formatting are quite close, actually. But I'm going to go back to number one. This is one of the spreadsheets that we use in our classes. This might be, so in my classes, I have this kind of format where, okay, everybody open this up. I go a lot slower and we go through it. And then if it's a paid class, then as opposed to this one, um, I assign homework. but you don't have to send it back to me or anything. It's for your own use. And the homework would look like this. It would be something where there would be a completed one with the answers and a bunch of instructions, usually on the right. Sometimes they're up top. It just depends. And then you can kind of compare, you go through it yourself, right? And then that is really the ticket, right? The course I took a couple of weeks ago, it's like, I wanted to go and practice before it all leaves my head. Okay. So this is the idea of that. So number one, make the list into a table. How many of you have used tables before? Tables are the cat's meow. They are so wonderful. And if you haven't used them before, we're not going to spend a lot of time on tables, but your data does need to be set up nicely. I'm going to click in the middle of my data here and hit Control A, and that highlights everything. Notice that this stuff up here, commission rate, it does not get highlighted. Try a little annotate on here. This does not get highlighted. The stuff up here doesn't get highlighted. The stuff on the right doesn't get highlighted when I do that Control A, because it's not part of my list. So if I had any totals or anything at the bottom, just don't touch the list. Don't touch the list. If you don't touch the list, then everything's going to be just perfect. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go insert table, or not pivot table, insert table. Control T is your keyboard shortcut. Okay. Can't have any blank rows. Don't have a blank row between your headings and stuff. I don't want this to turn into a table exercise. So I'm going to go up to table design here. And one thing I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of this shading, because it's going to interfere with some of the shading that we're going to put on. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go table design, and on the right hand side I see a bunch of table formats, and I'm just going to pick a really light one here. Oh, how about we go orange? How about we go orange? No, I don't want it in there though. I could say banded rows. I could turn those off. There we go. So it's a little bit orange. You can still go in and manually format it, but this is nice because it formats. It does a whole bunch of things. Like I said, I don't want to make this into a table lesson, but I could probably talk for an hour on the advantages of tables. We will see some of them today, because the first thing it says here is make all the cells with the people whose age is over 100 red. So what would the first thing we would have to do is go over here and grab all the ages. Well, instead of selecting all those ages, and look at that formula, by the way. That's a pretty cool formula. It figures out how old they are, and it cuts off the decimal places. That's all that chunk thing. So even if you grab this spreadsheet and say, oh my gosh, I could use that for, I don't know, maybe Noel can use it for when how long ago it was somebody had their uh, fall protection course or something like that. Hey, it's been 2.5 years. You need to recertify at 3 years or something like that. Anyway, look at the top here. I'm just going to select, and that just selects all the ages, as opposed to going in and clicking on column M. That's like a million cells I have selected right now. So that's one of the beauties of the table. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go back to home here, and I'm going to go conditional formatting. And we are going to go through a lot in here. We won't go through every single thing because there's so much. We're going to spend most of our time just on these top two, highlight cell rules and top and bottom rules. When actually we'll only do one thing, and there really a lot of it is in here. This is so powerful. We're going to say highlight the cell rules. Remember, select them first. Anything greater than 100, and it even selects it for me already. What do I want to do with it? Make it light red fill. I'm going to be lazy and just click OK. However, you could go in there and you could do other ones, and we will be going in here after. Let's just light red fill, because I think it just said make it red. Look at that. So it went in, and the next person who turns, well, let's talk about that. If they're 99 and they turn 100, look at this guy's 100. It's not red because we said greater than 100. Greater than 100. Hey, I want to make that 100-year-old red. Okay. So I'm going to go back in here. Here's the first real trick on this. If I said, well, I want to make it actually greater than or equal to 100, did I even see that option? No, I just saw greater than. I didn't see greater than or equal, so it missed the 100. It missed the person that was 100. So here's your first thing. You're going to go in, you're going to select your cells, you're going to go up here, and you're going to pick something kind of close to what you want. If you want to further modify it, and an example might be, oh, I want to change the red. I want to make it darker red or lighter red, or there's so many things that you can do with this. You can change the number format or whatever. Don't just go in and do another rule. I've seen some spreadsheets. They're like, Joanne, my conditional formatting isn't working. So I'll go in and there'll be literally 100 rules. Every time we do this, it creates a rule. So I'm going to just go here to manage rules. This is where there would be, like 50 or 100 rules. Every time you go in, conditional formatting, do this, conditional formatting, do that, it creates a rule. So if you don't like the rule, you go and you track it down and you either delete it and start over or you edit it. When you edit it, it gives you more options. And one of the options is, look at that, greater than or equal to. So now the person that's 100 years old exactly is going to turn red. So this is pretty important well, whatever your data is. Your data is important, right? What about if we were talking about, I don't know, with ages, maybe these people are all getting up there. If they were a certain age, 70 years old, you want it to do something different. Well, I want it 70 as well. So I don't want to go like, 69.9999999 or, you can't do that. So you want that. You want that flexibility. And there's a whole bunch of things in there. It talks about being blank, not for this specific one, but it talks, well, I think back here, it talks about it being blank, errors, whatever. So last month we did a session on ifs. And this is kind of a good segue into that because it's kind of the same idea. If it's greater than or equal to 100, then do this. But this is really only talking about formatting, whereas last month it was talking about actually displaying a message or doing a specific formula if it's one value versus the last. So if you're interested in that first time coming here today, go on to my YouTube channel and watch last month's. They're only an hour. Well, sometimes I talk for a little longer, but like an hour and 5 minutes. Okay. Here's also the time where you can change the the um the fill. So the fill is the actual color of the cell. You can see here you can put a border on it, big thick border on it. You can change the font, make it big, bold, whatever. Number format, you can give it a different number format, give it a dollar sign or something like that. I don't know why I would on a age, but okay. So that's a little tip. So we will be going in here a little bit today. We'll be going and applying it and saying, hey, do we like it? Yeah, it's good enough. Let's leave it alone. Or, oof, no, I want it. I want more. So there it is. Now let's go see if that 100-year-old person, where is it? There it is. Yay. So now it's greater than or equal to 100. Any questions so far? Let me bring up the chat. Anybody new here that wants the practice file? I will throw it in the chat regardless. There it is. You don't have to practice with it right now. You can save it on your computer for later if you want. It's also on my website if you want to track it down. Okay, next one. Make all the cells with people. Oh, we did that already. Make the investor status red if there is a duplicate value. It's one of my favorite ones. Trying to get rid of this big zoom bar. It's just in my way all the time. I can hide it. Ugh. Okay. I'm gonna go over here. So over here we have the I gotta wrap that. It's just bugging me. It's too wide, isn't it? Wrap it, make it smaller. Now I want to make the row higher. Doop. There we go. Okay. Investor number. Now I can make it smaller. So we've got all these investor numbers, and when we have a new one, we want something to happen to it. Like let's say, here's one. Let's say, oh, there's a new investor. I think the next number is 10049. Enter. Well, hey, silly, there's already a 10049. How are you going to know that? So what we want to do here is we want to make it change color if there's a duplicate. Or you can also do it if it's a unique value. So if you're trying to have something in there that is to stand out if it's unique. I think the duplicate is I don't know if it's more asked for more or not. I don't know. That's going to depend on your data. So I select it, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules duplicate. So do something to it. Oh, no, my zoom bar is in the way again. Duplicate values, or you can see here that that's how you say unique. And I don't remember what it asked for. I'm just going to go custom format here to light yellow or green, custom format. And we're in that same screen we were in a minute ago. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Let's just make it something. So, oh, I think it was red actually. It doesn't matter. I'm going to click on it and click again. I've just created another rule. So right now, none of them are colored. But if I go down here, 10049, enter, and it comes up and it highlights both of them in the cell, in the column. Isn't that cool? Can anyone give me an example of when you could use that? And I could also challenge you to say, well, how am I supposed to know what the next one is? How would you know? How would you know what the next one was? There's a couple ways. You probably sort, right? You probably sort um, smallest to largest, and you'd have the largest number at the bottom, and you just add one. Be careful of formulas because if you sort, you don't want it just looking at like blah, blah, blah plus one. I don't think you want to do that, right? You could look in the filter at the last one. Okay, I guess it's 10056. You could also have maybe somewhere on your spreadsheet, you could have a little equals max. Show me the biggest number in there, right? Just somewhere that's not in your print area. And then, oh, okay, thanks, 10055. So you would go down and you would go 10056, and now it's happy. And now this max thing turns to 10056. Yeah. So that's just a little extra thing there. Yeah. Anyway, that's your unique one. Any comments or questions about that one? Any ideas for that one? I'd love to hear your ideas, you guys, if you had any. Like, oh my gosh, I could use that for that. Okay. So make the provinces containing, oh, sorry, that's the next one. Make the provinces containing Alberta orange, BC blue, and Saskatchewan green. So what would the first step be? Select your provinces, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. What would you pick? Again, we're not going to go through all of these, but this one would be equal to. And you have to be exact. I don't think it's case sensitive, but I'm going to put it in anyway. And if this were me and this is really my spreadsheet, I would have probably made that column. I'd put data validation on it so it has a little drop down list. So it only would give you the three choices A, B, BC, and SK. So I couldn't type Alberta in there because here I don't want to say, oh, if it's AB or if it's Alberta or if it's Alta or you don't want that or somebody spells it wrong. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to make that orange for our Oilers. There we go. There's all the Albertas. And you would simply do that to each one. Highlight cell rules equal to. Now we're going to say, let's do it not capitals this time. Oh, I don't know. I skipped BC. Sorry. Sorry. I know there's some BC people here. Saskatchewan's green. Let's just be lazy and just pick that one. There's the green. Keep it selected. Highlight cell rules equal to BC. Now it does matter a little bit on the order that I'm doing these. Not these ones probably, but we will see a little bit about that as we go on. We'll see a little bit about it because we're going to actually end up formatting the same cell twice. So which rule? Like how can I be blue and green at the same time? So it does matter a little bit about the rules, but we'll get there. Okay, so that's a good one. So again, there I showed you this before. If somebody moves Alberta to BC, bam. Oh, now they moved to Saskatchewan. Bam. So so that works really well. I've seen this on a schedule. I've seen it on a schedule. Now I'm going to do the next one I'm going to do just a bit of a variation of that same idea. So, okay, make the rows where the client is inactive light yellow. Haha. So last time we did this, we did these check boxes. I get really excited about this. Now this is only available in the later versions of Excel or Office 365. And I do sell Office 365, by the way, not the subscription. I shouldn't say that. I sell I don't sell the subscriptions. I sell the one of Microsoft Office that you never have to pay for ever again, but sometimes you don't get all the new features. But anyway, people don't know that. But I have this set up that if D8, I'm just going to click there so it highlights it for me. This is how you get the check boxes. You insert them first and then you do a formula setter on top of them. Watch last time's video if you need more. But to know where it's coming from. So D8, that's the investment amount, is 0, then make this checkbook false. Checkbox false, because that means it's not turned on. So are they active? No, they're not active. Their investment amount is 0. So they pulled their money out and they didn't leave any behind and they didn't put any more money in. So or otherwise true. So true, yep, it's not 0 or it's higher than 0. Greater than or equal, no, greater than 0, because you wouldn't want it equal to 0, right? So you do want the greater than. This guy down here, Gwendolyn, is 0. So she's inactive. So what I want is I want to say, I want to go here and I want to go conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. If it's greater than 0, if it's greater than 0, then I want to make it, I can't remember again, green. Okay. If it's greater than 0, no, no, hang on a minute. I did that wrong. It's not greater than 0 if it's true. If it's true, because look at what I'm doing. I'm doing column N. So if it's true, that means they're active. It's already figured out if it's true or not, right? Like the if in column N, like how did it become that? In other words, I don't want to have to redo that. I don't want to have to look at the investment amount again or whatever. It's just look at column N, right? And then if I change the formula in column N, then yeah. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. I did it wrong. It's not D8. It is oh my goodness. I'm not even doing an if there. I'm doing conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Okay, so here's the thing. Did I put one in there or not? Manage rules. You want to go in there and you can edit it. So if it's true, make it green. If it's true, actually it's wrong, isn't it? If it's no that oh, what did I say? If it's inactive. So really what I want if it's false. If it's false, I think it was make it yellow. I'm sorry. I just added this line right before the class. I should do one with check boxes so people watch my last one. I think I said make it yellow if it's false. Sorry about that, you guys. Make it yellow if it's false. So the ones that oh, it didn't work. Sometimes you just do it over again. You can do the clear rules. Clear rules from selected cells. Let's do it all over again. Conditional formatting. Um, I'm going to say if it is equal to false, make it, I'm just going to go with this yellow. Sometimes I shouldn't talk while I'm trying this. Okay. All right. Okay. Did that work? Yes, that worked. So these two are false. They're clear, they're false, and they're yellow. So somebody usually around about now says, I want the whole line to be yellow, not just that cell. Because I could be over here and I'm working away and I'm like, oh, I need to give Gwendolyn a call, blah, blah, blah. Actually, no, Gwendolyn is inactive, right? I want her whole thing to be yellow. Is that is that something you guys would be interested in? That one? Chat? No? Maybe. I'm gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Because this is really the cool part of this is that you can do it to the whole line. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go conditional format. I'm going to clear the rule, or I can go in manage rules, and I'm going to delete the rule. Look at how many rules we have now, hey? Look at all those Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC ones take up a lot of room. Okay, I'm going to do my rule again. This time I'm going to go new rule because what I'm after isn't in that list of kind of these are kind of predetermined ones. New rule. And I'm going to say use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now, we could spend another hour just on this option, and we're not going to do that. And we'll see if I can, you know what? I already messed up. What we want to do is we want to do a control A because these are the cells that we want to apply this to. We don't just want to apply it to column M. We did that already. It worked okay, but because we want to apply this rule to the whole thing, but then tell it just look at column M. So first step, select your whole thing, control A, conditional formatting, new rule. Use a formula to determine which cells to format. We're going to click in here and we're going to say if this guy, N8, now, if you don't know about these dollar signs, you need to take one of my classes. That's an absolute reference and it's F4 to get rid of it. Now we want to get rid of that, that one. We want it to be $N8. Now I could explain that, or you could just trust me. But what we want is we want it to look at row 8 first and determine what? If it's false. If N8 is false, make it yeller. Let's make it this yellow. But then because we have the whole thing selected, it's going to just make everything on the 8th row yellow. And because I took away the dollar sign, it's then for the other cells, it's going to look at N9 and N10. If we left that dollar sign on there, it wouldn't work. Okay? Okay? Are you ready? Ah, beauty. So that might be a part you might want to write in your notes. 35 minutes in is where we talk about highlighting the whole row. This is a question that I get asked in my classes all the time. And it's not that simple, right? It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's not, but it's tricky. Anybody want me to do that again? Or anybody okay? Just, oh boy, I will have to practice that one later. You all have the spreadsheet and all of the conditional formats. I just switched to the number one completed at the bottom. And they're all the rules that I've done are in here if you go manage rules. Those are all the ones that we're going to do. Look at them all today. And there's that one I just did. $N8. So sometimes I'll find these solutions on the internet and stuff like, oh boy, I don't understand it, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. So, all right, good. Yeah, good. Thank you, Noel. Good. Okay, I heard someone else come in. I will throw the practice file in the chat. If you want to practice, you can. Do, 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 do. All right, you don't have to if you don't want to. I just never know who wants to do it. Half the people are just watching, and half the people are frantically trying to keep up with me, and they're like, "Hey, you went too fast," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know we cover a lot, but we only have an hour." Okay, what's next? I love that one, by the way. That goes through the whole thing, and I'd love to hear some of your examples too. Okay, make the rows where the client is inactive light yellow. Okay, hopefully I got you a little bit excited about ifs and checkboxes there too. Make the top 3 commissions green. So here's our commissions. It's using this 5%. There's a great absolute reference there. And I'm going to select all the commissions. Don't you just love the table thing? Boom, done. Conditional formatting. Okay, what were we after? The top 3. Oof, so what do I do here? Greater than, blah, blah, blah. No, top and bottom rules. So the only one that we're going to do in here is this one, but you can see that you can get the top or the bottom. It doesn't have to be by 10, above average, below average, top 10 items, we're going to change that 10 to a 3, and we're going to make them green. That's it. So we'll scroll down and we'll see that there's our green ones. And this one's kind of confused. We're going to delete that. So there's our top 3. So one of the instructions is going to be to add yourself to the list, and yours is going to be $100,000 commission, which is going to make the $1,000 $100,000 investment, which is going to make the commission huge. So it's going to now get the green. So how many of you do anything like are the statistician for your kid's soccer team? Oh my gosh, right? This is just great. Or you're organizing a curling bonspiel and you got all the teams in here and all the wins and wow, boom, 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 there's your top 3, right? I'm really hoping that you can get some ideas out of this, how you can work with that. Any ideas? Anybody wants to share? Love to hear them. Okay. I was going to say one more thing about that, and it'll come to me. I'll be like at the end. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, top 3 commissions. Okay. Then we have the data bars for the investment amounts. So here's our investment amounts. This one, there's so much data there, right? What are we going to do with that? Well, how many of you like graphs? This is kind of like a graph. You're going to have to put your head, tilt it. So we're going to select column, well, not the whole column D. We call it table column D because just the data in column D. Data bars. And just rest my mouse on these. Oh, I do remember. I do remember now. See, just get going a little bit. And I can rest my mouse on these just to see what might look good. So you just have your solid colors. The solid colors sometimes interfere a little bit with the actual values. So you don't have a lot of choice on here. Green looks pretty good actually. We'll put the gradient. And as you make the column bigger, I mean that's way too big, but as you make it bigger or smaller, it just is like I said, it's like a graph. If you tilt your head, I can see that as I go down where those big ones, right? Like that 75,000 is going right to the end. So I'm pretty sure that that's the biggest number in there or close to the biggest number. Let's look at these other ones, 61. What was that other number? 70, 75 looks pretty big. 70,000 looks pretty big, but you can see some white at the end. So you can kind of tell, like this Margaret, she's tiny. Like you might not know 3640, like is that good or bad? I don't know. Well, in relation to the other ones, it's pretty small, right? So that's a way that you can analyze your data just by looking. Um, and also I was talking about this is what was trying to remember to tell you. Um, I was talking about 2 cells having the same, one cell having 2 formats on it. So you might look at this and remember the Alberta cell? That should be orange, that should be orange, but it's yellow. So because the yellow one was made after the other one. So in your conditional formatting here, your manage rules, you can actually move these things around to say, well, I'm going to move that one, that yellow one to the end because yes, I do want it to be yellow all the way across, but I'd still like Alberta to show up as orange. Do you see what I mean? Like like I might just be looking at my provinces and going, oh, Alberta is yellow, whatever. So you can kind of play with that a little bit, right? And like this one doesn't have it at all because it's 0, so it's hard to tell. But my point is that you can kind of work with it a little bit. If you're like, oh, I don't like what it did. I like that rule, but I don't like what it did to that other rule. Then you can move the order of it. Okay, good. Where are we at here on the side? Zoom out. Top commissions. We got our data bars. Okay, traffic lights. apply a traffic light to the commissions. So, and this is interesting because we already did something to the commission. So yes, you can do more than one, but they might interfere a little bit. So we're going to go here. And so this one is kind of like the data bars a little bit where it's comparing itself to the other ones. These are icon sets. Color scales, I have a little bit of a hard time with them. It's like different shades of colors, and you can play with that one. Like look at the different shades of green. So you would have to know that the dark green versus the light green. If it's really light green, then it doesn't even make sense to me. I'm sorry. You can figure it out if you want. Let me know. If you figure it out and it's really cool, let me know. At this point, I'm like, there's so many other options. So traffic lights, that's our typical. Uh, Green is high, yellow is middle, and red is low. Although there's a little button there that you can flip those. If these are your golf scores, you want your low ones to be green, right? You want less strokes to be green. There's a way that you can flip it. Some of you are I know that are in school, and one of the school board, and one of the spreadsheets that I use in my classes is right now we'd be looking at student marks. So you'd be like, hey, we want our top students green and our bottom students red because their marks are lower, and we want to, highlight them or whatever, and everybody else is in the middle, right? That's kind of a fun use for this too. And I almost did that one, but this one has a lot more data. I love this one too with the check marks. It's like I don't know if it applies to this one, but like maybe these are some well, in the student one, it might be like if they're not passing, then you got an X. And if they're honors, then you got a check mark or something like that. So you either are working with three things or four things or five things. I think five is the maximum here. But what it does is it figures it out. Let's just play it simple with the thirds. It figures it out. Top third is green, middle third is yellow, and bottom third is red. Okay. Now, sometimes you put something really high in there and it totally skews it. So if I put 100,000 in here now, I think the 100,000 is going to be the only green one. And then all the other sort of remotely close to the top ones are going to be yellow. And you're like, no, I want to do it myself. I want to put my own thing in there. And in the in the marks one, when you have all the student marks in there, and I said the honors, let's say 80 and up is green, under 50 is red, and everybody else is in the middle. Well, that's not necessarily in the thirds. If your highest mark is 81, then it's going to say, oh, well, from 62 to 81 is green. No, 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 no. I want 80 and higher is green. You see what I mean? So we're going to select that. So on the side here, it says for all the commissions that are $3,000 and higher, I want green. And then between 1,000 and 3,000, under 3,000 are yellow. And then anything under 1,000 are red. So you come up with the little scale, right? And let's see how that's not that. I like doing a little before and afters. So right now, what's a good example here? Okay, we'll look at this 1,141 is red because it's in the bottom third, but according and 29.93 is green because it's in the top third. No, I want 3,000 and higher to be reds. So that $2,923 shouldn't be green, it should be yellow. And this guy here, it should be yellow as well. So we're putting our own stuff in. We try to remember to give you one more example about that. So conditional formatting. Now we've already done our traffic lights. So do not do it again because it'll just make you pick it and then you're done. What do we do? Manage rules. So we gave it something, we weren't quite happy with it. Manage rules. There it is. There's all our rules. Look at how much we've done today, right? Icon set, edit rule. Here's another hour for us, right? We could do lots, maybe not as much in this one, but you can pick a different kind of icon set if you changed your mind. I want the flags, whatever, right? There's that reverse order thing I was talking about. Maybe you just have the icon. You don't even have the numbers in there. Hmm. Okay. You can pick different icons. You could have stars and flags and you can pick. The important part for this here is it's not in the thirds. It's not in the percents. It is numbers. So this is what you do before you do anything. You change that percent to numbers. And then you just have to know your scale. So when value is greater than or equal to 3,000, make it green. When it's between, right now it's 0 and 1,000. Is that what I said? Yeah. So basically, make it yellow. And I hit tab there so it fixes the last one. So kind of from the bottom up, okay, when it's less than 1,000, it's red. And then there's the middle, basically 1,000 to 3,000, it's yellow. And then anything greater than or equal to 3,000, it's green. So we're doing our own thing here. Click OK, click OK. And now what? Now where those ones? Where was that 3,000 one? Here it is here. So where's it? Got so big. There's the 2936 now. It's not green anymore. We bumped it down. Hey, you're not 3,000. We bumped it down. And then this 927, it's red now because it's under 1,000. Not cool. Isn't that cool? Okay. So your trick there is to take it, select it, go give it whatever you want here. And then if you want to do your own sort of scale, your own rules, and you just go and manage rules and you just go and tell it what your limits are. Any questions about that one? That one right there is good again if you want to mark the time there. It's 12:50 on my in my part of the world here. But 50 minutes in is where, because I don't want when you have to sit there and watch a whole thing. Why did she talk about how to do the different things dealing with those icon sets? Comments about that one? I want to hear from you guys if you've got any cool ideas for that one or any of the other ones. Okay, let's zoom out and over. What do we got here? Okay, add yourself to the bottom of the list. Your investment amount is $100,000. Fill in all the information, see if it guesses correctly. And then I said, put your birthday in so you can see how that calculates. And I like to show off sometimes some of my formulas that I have in here. Anybody remember what that one was? 100, was it 49? Nope, because it went blue. What was it up here? Max 1055. Ah, I was a little off, hey? 10056. There we go. And I'll put my name in and 100,000. So when I press enter here, watch what happens to all the little bars. So I'm going to just knock these guys out of the park. Like, look at that 70,000 isn't going to be that big anymore compared to the other stuff. So, now I've got a new leader and that just knocked that one back. And the commission is now 5,000. So I don't remember which one it was up here, but it was one of these guys up here. There's another 33,000. I think it was this guy, 31. I think that's the old third place leader. So I just knocked one away. Okay. I don't need to put one in. We didn't even do anything with rep, but that could have been an idea where we did the colors, right? Kind of like we did with provinces, addresses, whatever. I am from Alberta. It goes automatically. And dare I put my, so I would do one more thing to this formula. I would put an if in front of it. If the birthday is blank, leave the age blank. Don't tell me I'm 125. Where's it gotten that number from? I don't even know. But if I was really doing this, adding people, that's what I would do. I'd stick a little if in front of it. But okay, so I'm gonna share a secret with you guys. I've got a fun birthday coming up. In 1 month, I'm gonna be big, big milestone birthday. I expect cards and letters and tips. Just kidding. All right, so you can see here. Oh, and it defaulted to being active. Why? Because I put an amount in. If I said, I don't know how much I'm doing yet, and I just deleted that, then it says, no, she's inactive. So if it's blank, it says that that's the same thing as being zero, which is kind of interesting. Cool, hey? I'm gonna hit undo on that. And then it changes everything again. So, what do you guys think? Question time. What do you guys think? And if I did decide to do it next month, what are some, and I'm not committing to this, but I'm just saying, what would be some good suggestions for sessions like this? It doesn't have to be Excel, although Excel is always our hottest topic. What would be some suggestions to fill an hour in stuff like this format? Just a quick tips and tricks thing. Or maybe you want to have it at your own location. Give me some examples of some things that you'd be interested in. I'm going to pick on people. Hi, Chris. I didn't see you come in. Brandy, yay. Colette, Colette, you wearing your jersey? You better be wearing your jersey. Maybe you're not wearing your jersey yet. I had to wear my jersey. Terry, hi. Anybody have any suggestions for oh, pivot tables? Yeah, haven't done one. I did one last year on pivot tables. So look at my YouTube because it might already be on there, but I know live is better. But watch that one first, and maybe something will come up. And Noel, do you want to give a little blurb on your company? We were just chatting before. Um, Maybe this is something also that your candidates might that are looking for work and things like that. If I think I don't know if your candidates are looking for work or not, your people that you deal with. But anyway, please share these things with people because if you learn anything on it, it's really good for having kind of a refresher. Yeah. Any other ideas or any questions? Do you want me to go over anything? Any uh any information? And like I said, we do Word, table of contents. If you're typing a table of contents in, you need to know about Microsoft Word styles. Let me know. Give me some ideas. Anybody learn anything today? If you had any questions about those column N there, watch last month's. Oh, Brandy, Google. No, use Microsoft. I'm not a Google girl. Although I do have a good contact that does Google. Uh, the Google Suite. Yeah, I use it a little bit, but I'm not as good on it as Excel. So I don't even know if you can do half the things that we did today on Google. You might know that better than me, but I know that they're not. They're a little bit behind as far as some of these cool things go. Yeah, but good suggestion. I'll because I do think there's a lot of people that use it. Yeah. Any anything else? What was your favorite thing that you guys learned today? Oh, assuming you learned some things. Tatiana, you've been to lots of these. What's your favorite things that you learned? Um, I want to show you one more thing while everybody's busy typing there, telling me what their favorite thing is, because I really do like to have some feedback. Here's just a couple other things. When you get back, maybe you open up a spreadsheet and there's already some colors in it. And you're like this, for example, you're like, hey, how come this one is right, is like that. So you select it and you go up here to the little paint can and you're saying, no fill. I don't want this to have any colors. And you're clicking on no fill and it still remains yellow. And you're like, what the heck? I'm trying to get rid of the color. Maybe today conditional formatting is new to you. And so you wouldn't have thought, oh, I wonder if there's some conditional formatting on that. Here's what you can do. This might be your favorite tip. So just don't select anything. Go to your home tab if you're not already there. And way over, I got all this other stuff on here. I thought I got rid of it. But anyway, you probably will see a find and select, or you might just see a magnifying glass. Tell me if you can see that. Right, you might have to dig for it like me, but it's probably way over on the right-hand side. I thought I got rid of all that. It doesn't keep it all the time for some reason. What you can do is you can go on to find and select, and you can say conditional formatting. And what it does is it goes in and highlights all the cells that currently have conditional formatting. So I know that all of these cells have some type of conditional formatting. Some of them it's obvious, right? Oh, I recognize those little flags, but it's not always obvious, right? So all of these cells have some kind of conditional formatting. So then what I would do is I would either go, oh, interesting. I'm going to go to manage rules and I'm going to sit there for half an hour and try to figure it all out. Oh, oh, that looks familiar. I don't want that yellow on there. Delete rule. Or you're sitting there and try to figure out, huh, why is it like that? Oh, I see. It's yellow because of N8. Oh, so when it's active, it's not colored. If it's inactive, it's colored. Oh, you know what? Now that I know that, I'm okay with that. Or I hate it. Delete it. You could do that. You could learn about them. The other thing you could do is you could go up to conditional formatting and you could clear the rules. Look at my choices from just the selected cells, the entire sheet, or just from this table. Because there could be you can have conditional formatting on this little tiny cell right here. If it's more than 5%, make it red, right? Right? You don't know. I mean, we know because it didn't select that cell. But what I'm saying is that you can do just about anything. You're like, oh, I hate those ones. I have all the provinces in. I want to put all the provinces in, but I don't want to sit there and do like 12 or however many provinces. What you know what I mean? Like all the. Well, what about if it's international? And so you're not going to put all the states in there or all the ugh, right? So you would just select that one and you'd say clear rules from selected cells. Be careful because if you really didn't want to do that, that's a lot of putting it back unless you're hitting undo or save it, close without saving or something. So if you want to clear it, then you can clear it or the entire sheet or the entire table. So I wanted to show you about how you can go in and see what already has conditional formatting and then work with that. Data validation is sometimes one that people want to do. And I was thinking of that one actually for September, data validation, so that um, here, if I try to type Alberta, it won't let me. It says, no, you have to pick between A, B, B, C, S, K. And then when I get a new province in, I go somewhere else and I add that province in, and then I come back here and it'll be listed. Okay, I got some comments. Yay. Okay. Auto column graph. Oh, interesting. So Chris, you want to look up spark lines too, because that kind of does the same idea. And the different values compared. Okay. Ah, good. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for the feedback on that. So it's 101 here. Um, I don't want to keep you longer than you cut out your time for. You can't, please give me some feedback. Give us a review, whatever. Give me on my website, there's a spot for student feedback, and Free Fridays is one of them. I would love to hear from you. Was this too slow? Was it too fast? What's the deal? So students, I'm going to put that in the chat, although I know some people are leaving feedback. Yeah, so please give me some feedback. And there's Free Fridays right there. It's the top one. I'll probably send you a little thank you, give me feedback, and a review kind of thing. And let me know what you might be interested in. And if you want us to do one of these sessions for your group, please let me know. I have one company that does these quarterly, and they love it. They give me the topic, and one builds on the next. Remember last time we did blah blah blah. All right. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that you're going to cheer the Oilers on tonight, and hope to see you next time. So keep keep practicing your Excel. Yay. Thanks, guys. Anyone wants to stay on for a minute? I'm here. Brandy, you're still on. Where do you work again? Are you still there, Brandy?